this little boy is me. It's actually a very small version of me. In the startup world, we would call it the beta version. When I was a kid, I used to dream about a lot of things. I used to dream about the things that I could do when I grew up. I wanted to become an engineer and build things. I wanted to become a doctor and help people. But most of all, I wanted to be an astronaut. And I also learned early on that in order to become all these things, I had to go to school. Because it was in school that you learn the things you need to become an astronaut. But after having spent 10, 15 years in school, I still wasn't an astronaut by the age of 15. Can you imagine? I started questioning, is really school the arena where I can show my full palette of skills? And the longer I studied at school, the more I felt that I am, oh, this sounds poetic, I am a colorful parrot in a cage. Because it felt that I picked up so many skills during my life that far that I couldn't express in school. And don't get me wrong, there was nothing wrong with school. School did exactly the things school was supposed to. But it was difficult to show everything. So I started looking outside of school for other opportunities to demonstrate my skills. And eventually I found a global essay competition that was connected to a conference, a little bit like this. So I decided to spend the 2 weeks of my life to write an essay for this particular competition. I sent it in and I waited. And I waited, and I waited. And after 3 months I received a phone call. And they said, Gustav, you have won this competition. In competition with 1,000 other students from all over the world. And the feeling that I had, I remember it today still. The feeling I had when they came with the word that I won that competition was that there is a way, there is an arena where I can demonstrate my skills outside of school. So I started competing. I competed in everything for 2 years. I competed in business plan competitions. I competed in design competitions, case competitions, programming competitions. I even tried out for the Swedish Idol TV show. That was terrible. Don't even think about doing that. And 5 years ago, together with a couple of other competition-crazy people, we founded studentcompetitions.com. As a website, as a listing website, where we collected all the world's competitions for students in one place. And as of today, we have built up a community of nearly 300,000 students that visit this site and find out about competitions within their field of study or within their field of interest. And through demonstrating their skills in practical applications of, for example, solving case problems. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. You can get access to skills that ultimately change your life. But we have a bigger vision with Sqore. Our vision is to connect talents with life-changing opportunities on a grand scale. And what are life-changing opportunities? When we first came to our VC investor and we said that, you know, we're going to create a community and it's going to be called Sqore.com. He said that, oh, is that a dating site? And we're like, no, not that kind of life-changing opportunities, but rather that you remember when you got your first job, for example, or when you got access to that university that you always wanted access to. Or, for example, when you receive funding, like even just a little funding, to get an idea started and running. It is one of those moments that change your life. This is an example of a competition that we run right now in India. We hand out 4 scholarships and 12 internships to students who compete by solving quizzes, multiple choice questions, and also solve topic-specific competitions in wireless engineering, wireless communications, in aeronautical engineering, and so forth. Last year, when we ran this competition, we had 4,000 people competing. And the winners, they get to go to Sweden to study at some of the most prestigious universities and companies and work for the companies in Sweden. Another example, Go Green in the City is the world's largest green energy competition. 12,000 participants last year. The top 12 teams from all over the world were flown to Paris for the finals, and the company sponsoring it recruits many of the top talents that come to the final. And you compete by coming up with projects to create a greener future. This also works for design. The new school in New York, including the Parsons School of Design, is handing out scholarships to high school students worldwide based on their creative performances. And what's important with this is that it doesn't really matter how you learned or how you picked up your skills in order to get access to the opportunities. You could have a background in school. That's completely fine. But you could also have other backgrounds. A really fun way to engage students, of course, is problem solving. Everybody loves problem solving. A light bulb company coming up with a competition for designing natural light in areas that are off-grid, inviting teams and funding the teams that present the best ideas for light bulbs that work in areas where there is no electricity. And since I'm from Sweden, I must have an example with IKEA. IKEA is running a Water Innovation Award in Jakarta, in Indonesia. All the proceeds from their blue bags that they sell goes to water innovation, to water projects. And we work together with a local NGO, with IKEA and the Swedish university, so that the best contributions and the best innovators both get an education and a way to realize their idea together with the company and the NGO, of course, in cooperation. So what I want to come to with this, I think is summed up pretty well in this quote by Reid Hoffman, who founded LinkedIn. As education becomes faster, cheaper, and more available, certification needs to become faster, cheaper, and more effective too. And we believe that competitions is one way of certifying your skills, and perhaps certifying those skills that are not theoretical, that schools already capture in a very good way, but to solve your practical ability to apply your skills and apply your whole palette of skills. And we believe that out there's a lot of parrots in school. There's a lot of parrots who are very colorful, that has a multitude of talents, that don't really get the opportunity to shine in that arena. But for them, there are other ways through the competitions. I'm just going to mention 3 trends also that drives this. There are more ways to acquire an education today. There are more universities founded. Coursera and edX is adding online courses, and with digitalization and globalization, we see that there will be a lot more educational institutions some years from now. We also see that people apply for opportunities across borders at a much higher rate, going abroad for studies or going abroad for work. And it's also easier to apply for a job than never before. Also thanks a bit to LinkedIn and Monster, with a push of a button, you can apply for a job. But I want to leave you with these pictures. These are pictures of students and non-students that have gone through some of our challenges. So far, we have connected a couple of hundred of people with opportunities through our competitions. But our ambition is that within the next 5 years, connect 1 million people to jobs, to scholarships, and to internships through our competition services. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, and I'm